I'm suffering from a disease that makes it really hard to lose weight. A lot of people in my life are understanding of it, but yet I still think to myself that people are probably judging me. So can you imagine how depressed I felt when I went to my sister's wedding, and there, my sister's sister-in-law starts making fun of me in front of everybody, and you won't believe what they have to say about it. Hello everyone, something wild just happened and I need to get it off my chest. I'm wondering if you all could let me know if I've made the right call about something. There's a lot of background information to go over, so this is going to be a long one. To preface this, I'm 35 and female and have been a long-time sufferer of polycystic ovary syndrome. The disease has long made me struggle with being overweight, often being close to obesity, and because of this, I have long struggled with self-esteem issues and body image issues. My little sister Tina has always been skinny and beautiful, but she has always been supportive of me throughout all my issues regarding my weight. She has never made me feel like I was, quote, less than others just because of my appearance. We've also been very close, and growing up, we endured many hardships and disasters. The tragic death of our parents when I was young was super difficult for us both. I've recently been diagnosed with a syndrome and was having to take care of my little sister and be her guardian. It was a hard time in our lives, but we made it through, and all we endured only strengthened our bond. All this is important because it leads up to the reason I'm writing this post today. Up until today, my sister Tina was so excited to marry her fiancé Tom. Tom seemed like a sweetheart and caring man, and I've been so happy for Tina to finally get married. She deserves a man like Tom, you know. Or so I thought until today. Despite the fact that I've always gotten along with Tom, I've never quite meshed the rest of Tom's family when it comes to personality. Tom comes from a much wealthier family, to say the least, and well, most of Tom's family has always treated me rather snobbishly, making remarks about the amount of food I'm eating at family functions and so on and so forth. Having already struggled with body imaging concerning my entire life, these comments, they always hurt my feelings, but I've tried to keep the peace and not make really a big fuss about it. Well, this whole time I've just wanted to do is show support for the strong love between Tina and Tom. Unfortunately, the biggest wedge and the worst offender in Tom's family is his spoiled, rude, rich, vindictive sister Valerie, the woman who has to become my sister-in-law. Valerie's always made the rudest remarks towards me, and everyone just seems to put up with her extreme rudeness and poor behavioral skills. She doesn't work, she has an obvious problem with alcohol, and she's just an all-around unpleasant person. I'm not sure why Tom and the rest of the family treat her like she's a princess. I raised these concerns with Tina before in hopes that she would, maybe speak about them with Valerie or at least with Tom. But Tina's concerns were mostly dismissed. Still, Tina promised me that she would make sure Valerie did not make any remarks about my weights at the wedding. Even though I was nervous the entire time leading up to the event, I was still excited and indescribably happy for my little sister, Tina. This was her big day, and I was just hoping nothing ruined it. The day of the wedding arrived today, and Tina informed me before going into the reception hall that she had specifically requested Valerie not to make any remarks about my weight or any rude comments towards me in general. While I appreciate the effort, I still do not trust Valerie. She was never a woman of her word before, and I had no reason to believe being told to cool down her obscene nature would not simply make her want to act this way even more. As it turns out, my predictions were right. While the wedding started off pleasant and amicable enough, with the rest of Tom's family being fairly civil towards me, Valerie waltzed into the reception and immediately began guzzling drink after drink from the free bar that had been arranged for the wedding, and I could see that Valerie was beginning to get drunk, and I had a bad feeling in my gut that the day was about to go awry. Tina assured me that everything would be fine, but not long after this discussion, things got out of hand at the wedding. Valerie stumbled over to my table where I was sitting eating a plate for my food. For the record, this was my first meal of the day, and I was not going to starve myself just to please my sister's fiancé's judgmental family. Sure enough, when Valerie reached my table, she began making remarks about the supposed giant mountain of food I was eating. Then she said something so offensive that I almost could not believe this ever happened to me. Valerie looked me in the eye and told me, "You know, since we paid for the wedding, I should tell you my family has a no overweight women policy. We don't want overweight women at our wedding." My jaw dropped, and the food I was eating almost fell out of my mouth, and I had not been the recipient of such an egregious, rude display of weight shaming since my high school days. But it made sense considering Valerie reminded me of the spitting image of the popular cheerleader girls at school who would torment me for being overweight. Before I could even formulate a response, I could feel my eyes beginning to well with tears. Why couldn't this woman simply leave me alone? Why did she feel she had the right to impose her standards of beauty on me? I'm just trying to live my life and be there for my sister's wedding, and Valerie wants to disrespect me and make me feel worthless just for being bigger than her? I wanted to say all this to her then and there, but I was so flustered that I could not bring myself together. Luckily, my little sister Tina was there to hear everything Valerie had just spewed towards me. I forgot everything Tina said to Valerie, but she really let her have it. She just tore into her for every rude and ignorant thing Valerie had ever said or done. I felt so proud of my sister for standing up for me. Valerie herself seemed quite stunned by Tina's reactions, and I don't think Valerie had ever had anyone in his life to be rude to her before, and I could tell her from her face that she was shocked. A crowd had gathered, and much of the commotion at the wedding ceremony had stopped as people wanted to hear what the drama was over. Tom had joined the crowd as well. Tina mentioned that Tom was pathetic for not standing up to his sister Valerie's vicious weight-shaming and rude comments. And then she took her engagement ring and threw it at the family's faces. Me and Tina decided to just leave the wedding. It was clear these people did not care about us, and Tom did not even try to stop or talk things through. It was clear he was siding with his ignorant sister. Valerie, just like the rest of the family was, she's clearly a manipulative person. As me and Tina was exiting the wedding, random members of Tom and Valerie's family pleaded for us to come back and, quote, stop being so sensitive. But we just ignored them all. Again, Tom and Valerie had nothing to say for themselves, and I can't believe Tom was not willing to side with his fiancée over Valerie's rudeness. I guess he's just the attached to his sister and cannot see her for the vile person that she truly is inside. Right now, me and my sister Tina are just sitting in the house not saying a whole lot. We're just trying to process all that's happened today, and we have not received any calls from Tom or his family yet, so it looks like they're either trying to give us some space or they simply don't care enough to call and try to make amends. The reason I'm posting this today, other than to get this off my chest and to vent to everybody about it, is because I'm looking for some advice and thoughtful comments from everybody out there reading my story. Did my sister and I make the right call today at the wedding by doing what we did in response to Valerie's rude comments? Well, I'm so proud and so grateful for Tina's lack of hesitation when it comes to defending my honor and my feelings in front of her fiancé's family. I don't know. I can't help but feel as this was my fault. I knew that Valerie was going to make rude comments about my weight at the wedding. I knew it. She's an awful person who simply cannot help herself from saying these sort of things to people. I can't help but feel like my presence at the wedding did nothing but put pressure on Tina to make sure things went right for me. I did not want the wedding to be all about my weight, and I felt like making Tina work so hard to accommodate me had inadvertently ruined her marriage. Maybe I'm just being hard on myself because I've always dealt with low self-esteem issues. Tina keeps telling me I did nothing wrong, and that she's not upset at all, but I wanted to get your opinion on the matter. Thank you everybody who's reading this right now. Update number 1. So, I'm back for another update. First, I would like to thank everybody who left constructive advice and supportive comments. I feel a lot better about this whole situation after seeing how many of you see things from my side. Well, I wish I could say all the drama's blown over, but it's the day after all this happened, and I must tell you it's not getting any better. I guess the reality of me and Tina's exiting the wedding has finally seeped into Tom's family's brain, because me and Tina have been receiving harassing text, phone calls, social media messages from Tom and his family. Some of the members of Tom's family who are contacting me have never reached out to speak with me at all before. But for some reason, they feel like they have the right to reach out and tell me I'm the one in the wrong in the situation. Well, that's rich. They don't even know me. I even got a few contacts from members of my own family who were trying to insinuate that I was the root of the outburst that, quote, ruined the wedding. Well, personally, I think Valerie ruined the wedding herself with her rude comments, but no one seems to want to lay the blame where it belongs. It's also interesting to note that Valerie is one of the only people who hasn't reached out to either me or my sister, just to try to make her thoughts known. She seems unconcerned with all this, and once again the rest of her family appears to be fighting her battles for her. She can't take responsibility for anything in her life. Clearly, Tom was not as sweet and friendly as he had portrayed himself to me and Tina. He texted us both saying that I needed to go over my sensitivity. Get over it. He was saying I should just accept that Valerie, quote, speaks her mind. Why is Valerie allowed to speak her mind, but me and Tina aren't allowed to speak our minds in return? I just hope this drama blows over because I want all these people to leave me alone. Update number 2. Hey guys, I'm here again for another update. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for the kind and supportive comments. I'd like to thank everyone who's taken the time to read this post. It does mean a lot to me, to be honest with you. I wish I could tell you all that's changed since I last updated this post, but unfortunately, things are just getting crazier for me and my sister Tina. Earlier today, we received a contact from Tom who announced that he has given us, quote, enough chances, and he said that since we were not willing to discuss things with him, he decided that it would be only fair to his family if I and Tina agreed to pay for all the wedding cost. I could not believe the audacity. Why should I and Tina pay for them, well, the wedding cost, when it was a member of Tom's own family who ran her mouth and ruined the wedding for everybody? Tom's family's rich, and they have plenty of money to blow on spoiling Valerie and entertaining her every whim and delusion. But they're not willing to take the hits on the wedding? How cheap and rude they must all be. Tom's definitely not the man I thought he was, and more importantly, he's not the man Tina thought he was either. All day, all night, Tina's been crying over the sudden change in behavior that Tom has displayed. Well, Tom has also always been compassionate and sweet on the outside, but it seems he's so blinded and swayed by Valerie's manipulation that he cannot see the reality of the situation at hand. Regardless of what he's going through, he's seriously living in a dream world if he thinks I and Tina, who live paycheck to paycheck supporting ourselves as roommates in a small apartment, mind you, have all this money and we can just afford to hand over to Tom and Valerie's family as if we owe them anything at all. Well, it's not going to happen. They can pout, scream, and cry all they want, but paying Tom for his wedding is simply not something me and Tina can afford. How can I deal with this situation? Update number 3. Hey guys, OP back for another update. I have some more bad news to share with you, and I could really use some advice on this situation. So, it's been a week since the big fight at the wedding, and despite being absolutely swamped with texts and phone calls from Tom and his family the day after the wedding, me and Tina have mostly just been sitting in silence these past several days. I've actually been enjoying the peace, and while I can still tell Tina's devastated by the loss of her future husband due to all this drama, I'm happy that Tom and his family are giving her space to grieve and not bombarding her with contacts like they were. Well, I don't know. At least it seemed that things were going this way until we received a letter in the mail today. That's right. There's a local lawyer in our small town named Mr. Boggs, last name McGinley, and he's one of the most fearsome, ruthless lawyers in the town. He's been attached to many high-profile cases, and when somebody hires an expensive, notorious lawyer like McGinley, You can be assured that the client definitely means business and intends on receiving the desired results. Having explained all that, it should make sense to you all that, why, Tina was absolutely stunned and terrified to receive a letter from Boggs. The letter largely says exactly what Tom was saying to us on the phone call the other day. That me and Tina owe Tom and Valerie's family for the wedding costs since our, quote, sensitivity ruined this special event for everybody. Can you believe the audacity of such phrasing? Making it sound as if me and Tina were crazy for our reaction to Valerie's abuse. Of course, the letter from the lawyer leaves all this out of context, and the letter makes it sound like Tom and Valerie are the real victims here. And the letter also makes reference to how large I am. Even a professional lawyer could not help himself for getting a dig in at my weight. Likely due to the high amount of money Tom and Valerie must be paying him. You all know me and Tina cannot afford to pay Tom and Valerie's family for the wedding cost. We definitely can't pay for the wedding cost plus court fees and lawyer fees on top of all of it. What am I going to do? I don't know. Update number 4. Hello everyone, I'm going to give you all an update. I know it's been a while since I've last posted the post, but me and Tina have been busy preparing for court, so I have not had time to keep up with the guys as much. Today was our court date, and I wanted to let you all know what happened today. First, me and Tina simply could not afford a lawyer to defend ourselves, so we focused on a defense case centered around my illness and the mental health issues I've encountered due to my weight and the mistreatment I've received due to my weight. And Tina even managed to get our family doctor to agree to represent us in court and give some evidence. We showed up at court, and Boggs McKinley strutted into the courtroom wearing a fancy flamboyant suit. Tom and Valerie followed closely behind him. Well, McKinley immediately began spinning a yarn, painting me and Tina out to be an abusive and hysterical monster who's so sensitive we started crying and attacking people at the drop of a hat. It was quite ludicrous, but the judge at first appeared to buy into his baloney. And Tina took the stand with the help of the family doctor, who went into great detail about my illness, as we spoke about my health problems and the resulting mental struggles I have, as well as presenting documented evidence of occasions when Valerie had made rude comments about my weight. I could see the court's opinion was changing to our favor. Boggs McKinley appeared to have more tricks up his sleeve, though, as his face did not show any sign of fear, but when it was Tom, surprisingly, who did the most to help our case, and we never saw this coming. Suddenly, Tom burst into tears in the middle of the courtroom and began apologizing to me and Tina. He distanced himself from Valerie in the courtroom, beginning to exclaim that he felt awful for being manipulated and being so cruel towards me and my illness. Well, frankly, I was not sure how to respond because I was so shocked by his outburst, and I could tell everyone else in the courtroom was as well. The judge banged his gavel and decided he has heard enough from both parties. He declared that the suit was being dismissed because clearly Valerie's demands were frivolous, and the judge also stated that he could see that Valerie had been the real cause of why the wedding was canceled. It was clear. Well, Tina and I were the victims here, and even Tom could see that he had been duped by Valerie's ways. The judge demanded that Valerie pay me and Tina the cost of the wedding plus additional fees for wasting our time and getting us sucked into the court case. Update number 5. Hey everyone, this will be my final update. I know it's been a while since my last post, but I figured I should wrap everything up for you all, and once again, I'd like to thank you who provided all this advice and kind emotional support. Well, it was a tremendous help the entire time. Now that court is officially over and all the fees have been paid to us by Valerie, I decided to donate my portion of the money to the Research Center for Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. My whole life I've struggled with money, and I've always just wanted to help those who were unfortunate, but I rarely had the means to do so. Living paycheck to paycheck. Thanks to the settlement I received from old Valerie, I was able to donate a chunk to the research and a lot of money to victims currently suffering from the disease. I should also let you know that I've decided to forgive Tom. Tom personally visited me and Tina's home and apologized profusely. He realized the error of his ways and said that he felt horrible for not defending me against his sister. He admitted that his younger sister had always had a hold on him, as she was the quote family baby who was pampered. Tom asked if Tina would consider taking his hand back in marriage on the condition that he cut off contact with Valerie for good. Tom told us that having us in his life was more important because he could see that we were better people than most of his family members. Tina accepted his apology, and now she and Tom are getting married soon in a small ceremony, and I'm so excited to attend. And the best part is that Valerie is banned from attending. Thank you all for reading this and helping me out along the way. So, this story makes me wonder. If Tom did not break down in court, start crying, and basically forgiving himself, saying, "Please, I'm so sorry this happened," what would have really happened in the court? Do you think that OP and her sister would have won the court case? I don't know, but I hate to think in a different world where Tom did not stand up and say, "I'm sorry," that this wouldn't have gone OP's way and she might have actually lost just because Valerie and Tom could afford a good lawyer. Let me know your thoughts though. This story had a lot of karma. In the end though, it was OP and her sister who came out triumphant and was able to donate a portion of the money to the charity that OP wanted to choose. So guys, let me know your thoughts downstairs in the comment section. Just real quick, only about 49% of viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. It does support me a lot if you hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for that. Just remember, it's cool to be kind. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.